Ruth, can you call roll, please?
Chairman Billy Lerma,
Finally here.
Board Member Steve Bonta,
Here.
Roland Barrera,
Here.
Kenneth Berry. I think he's here.
Here.
Vice Chair Barbara Canales,
Here.
Jesse Gilbert,
Here.
Paulette Guajardo,
Present.
Gil Hernandez, Roberto Hernandez, Michael Hunter, John Martinez, Ben Molina,
Present.
Mike Pusley, Carol Scott,
Present.
Greg Smith,
Here.
Peter Zanoni,
Present.
standing in for Rebecca Huerta. We have a quorum.
Thank you, ma'am. Public comments, is there anyone here who would like to make a public comment? Do we have anyone, that you receive any public comments, Ruth?
We have not.
None? Thank you. Moving to item D, the minutes. Approval of the April 26, 2022 reinvestment zone number 4 regular meeting minutes, and of May 17, 2022 special meeting minutes.
I move for approval.
I have a move. I have a second.
I'll second.
Are there any questions or anything else? No? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed?
Aye.
Minutes carry. Moving to item E, the financial report. Tirz 4 financial report as of May 31st, 2022. Go ahead.
Good morning, Chairman and Board. Heather Hilbert, Director of Finance. As you mentioned, these are the financials for the 8 months ended May 31st, 2022. Next slide, please. So we did begin the fiscal year with a negative fund balance of $64,000. That is due to the creation costs that were incurred before the Tirz was created, and so we did pull those out. Revenues year to date are $370,000. Administrative services to date are $48,000, leaving us with an ending fund balance as of May 31st of $258,000. Against that, we have awarded a little over $500,000. But those are paid out in future years. Next slide, please. So this is just a cash flow with our commitments. We are showing that most of our commitments are starting in fiscal year 23, and then will be paid out over multiple years after that. Next slide, please. So we do have several commitments to date. The first one is our Las Casitas Del Mar, and that is a project-specific development. We anticipate that will start possibly fiscal year 24, but we do have that on the agenda today to extend that project plan. Next slide, please. We have the North Beach Living Initiatives, which is also this project. Next slide, please. And then we have the Breakers condominiums and the Puerto del Sol RV park improvements. Next slide, please. And also the Puerto del Sol RV park for the North Beach infrastructure improvements. So that concludes my presentation. I'm available for any questions.
Heather, on the RV park, do we know when that's the start date exactly is on that?
So they were going to wait till after the summer season and then start the renovations. So probably September timeframe.
September? Okay, thank you. Any questions, board? No. Move on to agenda items. A resolution approving the proposed fiscal year 2023 tax increment reinvestment zone number 4 operating budget in the amount of $390,696 and revenues and $97,075 in expenditures to become effective upon City Council's approval during the normal budget process.
Good morning, board members. Eddie Houlihan with the Office of Management and Budget. Just a couple of slides here for you for the Tirz 4 budget. First area, the revenue from the participating entities, the city, the county, and Del Mar. There's still some calculations going on, so these are conservative numbers. The values did go up considerably from 142.2 million to 181.5, or 27.7%. So total revenues for 2023, a little over 390,000. Expenditures, a small amount budgeted for any admin charges that may come up, training, board training, or anything else that might come up, of 5,000, and then only one anticipated payment for the breakers, that property improvement program, of 16,187, and then the general fund support of 75,000. Total expenditures a little over 97,000. In the overview, expect to begin the fiscal year 23 with 202,000 fund balance, with revenue of 390 and expenditures of 97,000. So anticipated fund balance at the end of 23 of a little over 495,000. And I'll stand by for any questions that you might have.
Mr. Smith?
Thank you. Eddie, the $390,000, does that reflect the preliminary tax appraisals by the appraisal district?
Yes.
Okay.
But we don't have all the calculation, the final calculations. The tax office is calculating the rates and for the different entities and various things. But so I believe that's a conservative number.
Okay.
Right, we just got the final certified tax roll on Friday, Eddie? Was it
Correct.
Friday? Yeah, we
Correct.
just got the final numbers Friday, so.
Okay. So you would say equal or greater than on the 390?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Thanks, Eddie.
Yes, sir.
Any other questions? Do we have a motion to approve?
So move.
Second? All those in favor, please signal by saying aye.
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 Motion passes. Thank you.
Thank you.
Moving on to the next item. Motion to approve amendment to extend the project completion dates for the development reimbursement agreement with Date Tree Holdings LLC for improvements and project located at 4606 Gulf Breeze Boulevard from July 31st, 2023 to July 31st, 2027. Yes,
Good
ma'am.
morning again.
Good morning.
So we have had a request by the developer of this project to extend the completion date from 2023 to 2027. As we have seen with many of our projects, the developers run into challenges with supply chain, with construction. His general contractor, due to workload, had pulled out of the job, along with a constant increase in pricing. He has continued to move forward with this project. The plat was approved in February 22. Plans have gone to review with development services. He expects to have the elevation work for that, for the land, which is anticipated to be raised by 6.5 feet by the end of the year, and has moved forward with taking that alleyway in between this property and the adjacent property and dividing that with the other property owners. But what he is requesting an extension to July 2027. As of right now, he's exploring the possibility of doing the project in phases so that he may be able to self-fund, self-finance it, just because of the increase in the interest rates also. So like I said, the project hasn't changed significantly. Still looking at 8 one-bedroom units and 6 three-bedroom units for a total of 14 units, including parking, landscaping, pool, solar panels. Renderings are looking really nice. He had provided those to me earlier. The developer is here to answer any specific questions you may have, but that does conclude what my conversation points.
Are there any questions? Mr. Pusley?
So he's asking for from July, instead of a completion date of July 2023, he's looking at July 2027.
Exactly, because right now he's anticipating, instead of building the whole project at once, is possibly doing some phasing, and that would allow him to be able to break it up into possible 3 to 4 phases to provide that additional 4 years.
Have we done any other 4-year extensions on projects of this nature?
Not within this TERS. I know that we have done several extensions on some of the TERS 3 projects due to.
But we normally do like 1 or 2 year extensions.
We do normally do 1 or 2 years. The developer is asking for the 4-year to give him the latitude to be able to break it up into phases.
Okay. I don't know, I would think a 2-year extension would be sufficient, but I'll defer to the rest of the committee.
Okay. Yeah.
Heather, you said the developer is here?
He is.
We'd like to, could he come up so he could answer some of these questions that these board members have?
Hello, folks. I'm Gordon Awesome, and I was here a little over a year ago. Resident of Corpus Christi and landowner in District 1, trying to do this development as part of an Opportunity Zone Fund. And the world's not gotten any simpler in a year. The interest rates have about doubled on home mortgages, and costs were 35% higher on this project. I'm asking you for a 4-year extension because I think the prudent way to do this for the development business is to do it in maybe 2 or 3 phases. I was anticipating completing the site work, raising the site, putting in the utilities, the driveways this year, and then starting on 2 buildings, perhaps 4 buildings early next year. If the world doesn't get a lot worse, I would like to complete the project in 2 years, but it just is a very uncertain time. I've been in this business a long time. I remember 1979-80 when prime interest rate for developers was about 27% and put them out of business, the guys I was working for then. So I'm an old developer and I haven't gone bankrupt yet, and I'm prudent about taking risks at my age, and so that's why I asked for 4 years. Not because I'm not committed to this project, but I want to see it fully succeed. I believe by this time next year we'll have substantially complete 1 or 2 unit buildings and hopefully building the rest of it. But that's my reasons for asking for that extra time. So if there's any questions, I'd be happy to answer.
Mr. Alsop, when we first started this project, how many years did we have to start? You know, Heather?
It was through July of 2023 to build the entire project at once.
So we approved this in 2021? Is that correct? I don't
Yes.
remember the date.
It was July 29th, 2021, we had the contract signed.
Okay, and at that time, you basically didn't have any issues. You were thinking that it would probably be built within the 1.5 to 2 years, right?
I had the
But
I had the financing commitment in hand, and I had the general contractor's bids in hand, and I was full speed ahead. But the world has not gone according to the plan. It's taken longer, and costs have escalated.
Okay. I do have a slight issue with the 4-year extension. I don't mind going a 2-year extension, and then when you're not able to finish, then we can ask for an additional 2 years. That's how I would look at it, but to give someone 4 years right off the bat, I do have a little issue with that, just like my board member on my right has, because we've never done a 4-year extension that I'm aware of. I don't know if any other board members are aware of any 4-year extensions throughout any of the tours. You know, I do know 1 year, 2 years. I've not seen a 4-year, but we'll leave it up to the rest of the questions that board members may have here. Mr. Smith?
Thank you, and I share those concerns. Now, possibly something to consider would be milestones. So we've just heard the applicant say that he wants to have it raised by the end of this year, have units done by next year with it, but to do a blanket 4-year, which actually, we're looking 5 years from now, I cannot support that. But if we did have milestones in there to follow up, to know that we're going to be increasing the property value, that's what we're all about. We're not about increasing the property value in 5 years. We're about increasing it now. So either a shorter, a 2-year, or milestones is the only thing I could support. So, thanks.
Thank you, Mr. Smith. Mr. Pusley?
So, Heather, we would, if we gave the 4 years, we would be essentially capturing that commitment as far as our TERS budget is concerned for that 4-year period of time.
Yes.
Okay, and that's kind of my concern. You know, and I respect the work that you've done in the past, and you've always been a man of your word, and we appreciate that very much. How about, if we did a 2-year deal with an option to extend for 2 years if you found it necessary? And this board has been very flexible about doing that in the past with other projects.
We really have, sir.
It keeps us from committing all that on our books for 4 years.
I understand the reason for your concern. I think that your flexibility to do that is very much appreciated. I think it's prudent from a public standpoint, and I have to be prudent from my standpoint, so that's
Sure.
a good compromise. I would appreciate it if we could do that.
And we hope you're successful over there. We really do. We think this is a great project, so.
Yes, we do, sir.
So with that, Mr. Chairman, unless there's anybody else has a comment, I'll make a motion that we grant a 2-year extension on this project with an option for an additional 2 years if necessary.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second that. This is Barbara Canales.
Judge Canales, thank you so much. Any other discussion? Questions? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. 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 Oppose?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you.
Good luck, Mr. Alsop.
Thank you.
Presentation items, do we have a presentation, Heather?
No.
No, because it's highlighted. Okay. Once again, my sincere apologies for being late. This meeting is adjourned.